Geekazine's special coverage of HP Discover 2011 is brought to you by Iolo System Mechanic. Go over and use the code Geekazine for up to 50% off System Mechanic 10. And Wirecast. Produce all your video straight from your computer right to the internet with Wirecast. Go over to geekazine.com and click on the link. Of course, Geekazine is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. Over at techpodcast.com. If it's tech, then it's here.
How you doing? I'm Thomas Jones, known as NikeTown588 on Twitter. I'm here with Mr. Barry Forbes from XYPro Technologies. He's going to show us some really cool products that they have here at HP Discover 2011 in Las Vegas. Barry, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good deal. Now, can you tell us a little bit, give us a little bit of background on what you're about to show us in the demo, and then go into the demo.
Okay, what I'm about to show you today is a little bit about our product XYGate Merged Audit. And the key purpose of this product is for meeting PCI requirements for audit collection and reporting, SIM integration being the security incident and event management, as well as real-time alerting. So probably a lot to swallow in a small amount of time, but for the non-stop server, where this product comes in really handy and very required by many of the non-stop users today is that there's a lot of different areas of audit, security audit, that are collected on the non-stop server from various applications, various sources, and they're formatted in multiple different ways. And what we do is we take all of these different audit sources and audit locations, and we merge them together into a common SQL database on the non-stop server. And with that, we can then integrate to the various SIM tools like ArcSight, RSA, Envision, that type of thing, as well as give the user of the non-stop server the ability to look closely at the security audit data in one place. And so what it's in some ways it's difficult to show how all of that is happening, but I can show you some of the end results of what the user interface experience would be with that data for a security administrator.
Okay. And I appreciate that. Now, for the fans out there, what type of market does this product fit in? Is it Intel? Is it federal? Is it commercial?
Well, it actually fits in a number of areas. Retail is a very large one. Financial is another large one. But there are some manufacturing as well. Healthcare is another very large one. Primarily telco. So we do cover a wide industry coverage, but primarily if I was to focus on one particular area, that would be the payment card industry data security standard. And so that's affecting our banks that are issuing credit cards, our payment processors that are acquiring the credit card transactions, as well as the retailers who are receiving debit and payment type transactions. So they are under industry regulation to have control and regulation of anyone who might have access to credit card information to avoid fraud and etc. And part of that is auditing what is going on by users of these systems that are housing the data. And with that, this gives the auditors and regulatory bodies the ability to access that data and prove that it is being secured properly.
Oh, good deal. Thank you for sharing that. From what you explained to me, I'm interested now to see the product in action, and I'm sure the fans are as well. So if you could, please.
I'll, what I'm struggling here with is we have intermittent network disruptions. I don't know where it's coming from. So I seem to lose my connection periodically. And what I'm about to show you is actually it's a common tool from XYGate, which is our report manager module. And this is a way that the user in the XYGate Merged Audit would be able to have a look at the data that it's merging together onto the system. I'll try to enlarge this a little bit so that we can see it. And what for those familiar with the non-stop server, in many environments you will have multiple non-stop servers running simultaneously, performing whatever function it is that they're designed to do. When we talk about merging audit, not only are we merging audit from multiple audit sources, such as the Safeguard audit database or the EMS logs or security tools such as XYGate, other control tools. It's collecting data from multiple systems and merging them into a single database. So with this, we're able to look at very simple things such as, let's say, daily log on and log off activity. That's an important item for the auditors to know who's logging on, who's logging off. Very simple function, but sometimes it's hard to get at that information, as simple as it may sound. So what we have is a very simple to use reporting interface. You provide title and date ranges. And there's many options there, whether you want a number of days ago, beginning of week, end of week, that type of thing, or you can provide custom items. There's also a data selection criteria, and these are all the data elements recorded in the database, and you can set your criteria. So what we're looking for here, when I say product code, this is one of the audit sources is Safeguard, but you can choose, from base 24, which is a payment application, various other audits, or from all of them. And it makes it easy to perform your selection criteria. So then you have a number of other criteria, and they're all either from pick lists or yes, no options, that type of thing. There are a number of tabs across the top. You have which query columns do you want to have in your report, which query nodes. These are multiple systems that you want to collect from. There's also a retrieve data. This is just more for the user of the interface to see, what have I got there? They may not know what some of the data means, and this will help them sort of refine and find it and search for items. So you can see this is a particular system, the product code, the user ID, various other pieces of information, successful, for example. How you want your report to look in here. You have grouping and sorting options, how it's laid out, and then you can view the report, and it will generate a report for you there. We also have a scheduling option, and this is used most often because what the system requirements will be that they have to have a daily report generated and sent to the auditors for their review. And so what we can do is create a schedule. This report, this is the design interface, but once we set the schedule, the report will happen whenever, according to your frequency, so whether it's once, daily, weekly. So we wanted to create a daily schedule.
Now does this report, can it get emailed to someone?
Well, exactly. You have a number of different options in your schedule, which I was about to. I'll show you. I'm glad you asked the question. So let's say it was starting today. We could add a delivery method. So we have email options. You can send a file or FTP. So if I chose email as the option, you have a to list. Your subject will by default have the report name and the date. What format do you want to send and so you can have RTF, HTML, etc. Now, as an example as well, just if we wanted to add FTP, for example, like let's say you had a secure FTP site where the auditors could look at, you could automatically FTP HTML to a location where the auditors would have access, or whoever needs to see that report.
Now, now the other product that you mentioned, can you show us that as well?
Yes, I can. So this is, I'll close this off. What we have is our security compliance wizard, and this is another one of those components, same market segment or segments, and regulatory requirements for security compliance. what we have here is a tool. I'll give a little background on it. It's a tool designed to ensure that your system is secured the way that the industry and your security policy would require. There's a lot of data elements or configuration components on the Nonstop server, such as users, file sets, network configuration process, etc. It's very hard to get the information in a timely manner to have a look at it to know, am I secure? Am I being secured properly to meet the requirements set forth by the various regulatory bodies out there? So it's very difficult to know where your status is. This tool helps us do that in an automated fashion. So what we call it the Security Compliance Wizard, because it's a wizard looking at security compliance. And with that, we have a set of collections, and these again are batch run, or you can set up a schedule to. And what it does is it will go out and it will collect data. Let's have a quick look at our setup criteria. It will collect Nonstop data, all of your users and aliases, all of your Guardian file information, including vprocs, which is information associated with object files, so like no tampering can happen, almost like a MD5 hashing, which is coming in the subsequent release of this. All of the pathways, processes, the entire safeguard subsystem, all of your network information, and all of the OSS file subsystem, and that's the POSIX flavor or Unix type flavor of the Nonstop server. So all of this data is being collected. And this is necessary for security audits to be done. So if you were to do this, manually, or even if you wrote your own macros and stuff, it can take weeks or months just to collect all of this information, let alone try to make any sense of it. So this automates that whole collection process. So once the data is collected and it goes through, you have, various. I haven't made a connection here, but you can have it set up automated to batch every night at midnight. It'll run a collection. That data gets analyzed, and we have a number of ways of looking at that data through our system policy analyzer or best practice policy, as well as system integrity checking. What I'll do is I'll do a quick look here at our best practice policy analyzer. I'll look at one of our systems, and what you see here is we're showing visually what your environment looks like. These are little rulers for rules, and that red rule is a broken rule. So there's something broken in there, and it's not in compliance. Just get rid of that. We also have the green ruler, and that's showing, what, everything's fine here. So ideally, if you're running this on a regular basis, you come in the morning, you have a look, and everything's green, everything's good. It does automate the process of generating a report each time it's run, and it will send you that report as well. There's lots of different ways of doing automated notification. But from a visual standpoint, you can see here that that's like that. So if we took a look at one of these items that are broken, let's look at the Safeguard Globals. And it has all the various items within Safeguard Globals. And I want to see something that is broken. So I'll look at password history. And what that has done is it's showing me it's only looking at one item. So it's showing this failed. It's a Safeguard Global item. It's identification. And what we're looking for is a recommended value of a password history. That password history is how often are you allowed to reuse a previous password, and we want it to be 10. Well, what it found was that the discovered value was 0. There is no password history. So this is out of compliance with standard rules. And one really neat thing we have here is it's also showing a reference, Volume 1, Part 2, page 37. And what that refers to is we have a couple of books. Well, there's Nonstop Security for the Guardian world, and as well as the TCP/IP OSS and SQL world. And this is making reference specifically to, let's see, I think there's part 2, page 37, and it will reference that specific item. And so it's very useful. This is there's several thousand different standard rules in this book that will guide you to how to secure it. This automates that entire process. So there's a number of other checking that it does do, but from the most part, this is the purpose of this is to automate the process of the data collection, what your configuration should look like, and then comparing it against a baseline or a policy that you have, and identifying where your non-compliance items are, and so that you can follow up on those.
Well, Barry, I want to thank you for that demonstration. That was really cool, and also the fact that it tells you what page number to look on, because as you know, with some of the guidelines, it just tells you what's wrong, and you got to go through a pretty thick book to figure out what the problem is.
Exactly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, definitely go check out this product. And Barry, are you on Twitter or
yes, we have XYPro is on Twitter, as well as we have a Facebook page with XYPro, and so you can find us there.
All right, good
or
deal.
Follow us there.
Good deal. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please go check out that. It's pretty cool technology. They have some other things as well. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.